stupid. Look at this. No, I'm kidding.
Oh man, speaking of anything right now, at least Twisted Fate and Hecarim being picked off by the blue team, purple team, Draven, Zed, and Shen not wanting to deal with that Draven, not wanting to deal with that Shen, or Zed rather, and not wanting to deal with the global control coming out from Zed. So first picks going out for the blue team is going to be that Thresh, still a very strong support despite all things, and then of course we've got Zyra potentially coming out on the part of the blue team as a support with a Varus combo, which will be very interesting to see.
Well, this could be very interesting. We might see Zyra mid, or as you said, support. We will find out whenever the summoner blockers do come down, or when more champions are picked to give a better idea.
Yeah, Zyra, you know, she was originally that mage, and she was so overpowered in mid. Like, she was insanely OP in the mid lane when she first came out. Like, words do not describe how overpowered she was. Like, you think her ultimate is big now? They reduced its radius by 300. Zyra is just one of those champions where she was totally OP upon release. People started playing her as a support when she wasn't as viable as a mage anymore, and she really fit well into that role as a very pokey and heavy damage support. I know, as trolly as it is, yesterday I was running a game and I ended up going Mejai's Zyra down in bot lane.
Sucky influenced you.
Yeah, I agree, but I think by the end of the game I had like 18 stacks and was just killing people left and right. I didn't die a single time. It was beautiful.
I can't do the Azraki joke of Yora thing because that would be a compliment. However, we're going to see the racing come out and a Tristana for the blue team. I'm pretty sure we have our bot lane set, as Thresh can go top lane, but it is kind of painful to him since he does so much with his auto attacks that you'd almost need the Spellblade perk mastery, oh lord, in offense to really become super viable. And even then, he's still better as a support.
We don't really see Thresh too often in other roles, and generally if we do, it's very off meta, very trolly kind of thing. I've seen AD Thresh before with Static Shiv, which is hilarious. But that's not really something we expect to see, especially in the finals of one of the tournaments where we do see a lot of Platinum and Diamond players coming in with some very high level play. So Thresh and Tristana is very interesting. By the time level 2 comes around, you're going to have some really nice combos coming out in the bot lane. Tristana has a really nice set of early game damage, but come the mid game she falls off. She picks back up in the late game, known as kind of that hyper carry with a lot of range on her, so it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens here.
And not only that, but going back to the Thresh thing, because you almost nailed what I saw. This person had a Randuin's Omen and a Static Shiv, and that was hilarious to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely really amusing. And why are you sending me messages? He would be a sad panda, except he... God damn it, Hawkeye. God damn it. I have no words for you right now, Hawkeye.
Uh-oh, Sejuani pick.
If only. Sejuani's actually a really good jungler right now, as long as we're talking about current meta and things like that. Sejuani, she came back, got some tweaks to her kit. Her W got a huge percentage increase in terms of the health it's based off of, which really helped her out. It had a very low base much earlier on in the season, but after her rework, it's sitting at 16%, which is helping her out so much in terms of damage. Her charge now applies a knock-up to enemy champions, as opposed to only minions, which is really nice. And her ultimate had some tweaks made, so now it has kind of an AoE splash if it doesn't land on anybody, which is great. Even though they went ahead and reduced the range, the cooldown on it is still low enough, and they essentially went ahead and made it so that she has one of the better jungle clears out there in terms of the early game, which is really surprising because you used to not be able to go from blue to red buff before without having to go back somewhere in between. So it's really nice to see how the minor changes have really helped her out. So now we have the final team locked in for the blue team. We've got Thresh, Lee Sin, Tristana, Zac, and Ahri. So it'll be interesting to see what they can pull out with this team comp here. You know, Ahri, she's got a lot of that mobility, a lot of assassin potential. We've seen her picked quite a bit in these last couple weeks of the TowerDiveTV tournament, coming out as a very bursty assassin onto the enemy team. And then, you know, Zac and Thresh for some decent crowd control. They're essentially just trying to keep everybody together so that Ahri and Tristana can go ahead and just do as much damage. And then the purple team, they've got Varus, Zyra, Lux, Jarvan, and Jace. A lot of deceptive crowd control here. You know, you think of a kill lane, or, you know, a lot of AoE, CC coming from the bot lane, you think immediately of people like Leona and Sona. Zyra, Varus, and Jarvan are not immediately the first couple of champions that come to mind when you talk about AoE CC, but we've got Cataclysm, Zyra's ultimate, as well as Varus's ultimate that all will chain together very nicely, and some flashes are going to have to be forced out in order to really let the blue team do anything. So their strategy of staying so close and into the fight to go ahead and maximize their damage may really end up hurting them.
Well, only time will tell, and so will the plays, especially with the ganks going into the bottom lane. However, I think the mid lane matchup is going to be rather entertaining, especially once Ahri hits level 6.
Yeah, that's going to be something interesting to see, just because there's a lot of burst potential coming out from both champions, and while Ahri's ultimate will give her the ability to dodge a number of skills that Lux can put out, there's also quite a bit of damage that Lux is going to have to be very careful of and save her binding for when she knows she can hit Ahri with it in order to stop her from getting any closer, to stop those charges of her Spirit Dash, to stop that Foxfire from being close enough to hit her, from getting out of range of a Q that is going to go ahead and lead her right into an Orb of Deception. I'm sorry, an E that leads her right into an Orb of Deception, because I totally remembered what button her charm was on.
Karthus press R.
Yes, that sounds about right for this particular instance. Oh man, but I mean, it's excellent team comps on both sides. It's just a matter of which one will win out, and right now I give it to the purple team. The reason I give it to the purple team is because the blue team, they're going to be looking for a lot of immediate, right on top of everybody engage, and that's exactly where the purple team is going to thrive. They've got all of these AoE ultimates, they're going to be able to pelt out a lot of damage, and all Lux has to do is sit in the background and ulti the moment that that Varus ulti, as well as Jarvan's Cataclysm and Zyra's ultimate go down, just to go ahead and pelt out. I really wanted to say shit tons of damage, but yeah, let's go with that, shit tons of damage.
So what you're gonna say? I have a better one for you. When all these ultimates go down, Varus's R, Zyra's R, and the Cataclysm, she will taste the rainbow.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what's gonna happen. And it's really good comps on the part of both teams. Now, we're not seeing any too unusual spells coming out. No teleports for either team right now. The purple team has gone ahead and picked up a number of ignites. We've got 3 ignites coming out for them, and then the standard exhaust and smite coming out from the support and jungler, respectively. Meanwhile, on the blue team, we've actually seen Thresh pick up Ignite, which isn't something too unusual. In Season 3, we saw a move away from AD carries picking up Ignite themselves, and they started opting for Cleanse and Barrier, as opposed to Heal, which was more popular in Season 2 than those spells, though neither of them were really used terribly much. And some supports who wanted to go for that early game kill potential went ahead and picked up offensive spells like Ignite to compensate for the fact that their AD carries didn't have it. Now, in top lane, we actually see Zac going for Barrier and Ignite. No escape spells whatsoever. He's not going to have an opportunity to ghost or flash out, so he's going to have to be very careful, especially if any early ganks come out from Jarvan. That's going to be something that is not going to be fun to deal with.
No, especially when it takes time to use his slingshot. So he is really hurting himself not having an escape. I understand that he wishes to use Barrier as a way to gather blobs and heal himself, but it's actually going to hurt him more because now he has no escape.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I imagine that because of that, there's going to be a number of early ganks coming out from the top lane just to go ahead and see if they can take advantage of the fact that he doesn't have that flash, he doesn't have that ghost, and he doesn't have that ability to really really get out of a sticky situation like that. And with that flag and drag coming out from Jarvan, he's going to have enough crowd control. It's not really going to be a problem for him to come in there and get the CC that could really enable a kill coming out from Jace, who's able to do some incredible damage.
Absolutely. So we're going to get into this, and we have one skin of the schoolgirl Ahri on top lane with the top side blue, and then we have only 2 skins coming out for the red team, Spell Thief and Wildfire. Neither are really favorites of mine, especially with Wildfire being, well, the only Zyra skin.
Aw,
so
but
I rest
Spell
my
Thief
case.
Lux. I mean, it's better than Steel Legion, and I'm going to get crucified for saying that, but I hate Steel Legion Lux.
How dare you go against a Street Fighter?
I know, right? But anyways, it looks like this is actually going to be a pretty quick loading screen, which is going to be really nice for us. And I'm going to stop playing with this piece of paper so we can go ahead and concentrate. Pizza paper, not pizza.
I was doing Little Caesars thing
I know
just for
you
the fun of
were.
it.
I know you were, you derp.
Don't make me do other things.
No.
Hey, speaking of which, what are we at, guys, on donations?
We're still where we were a little bit ago at 250. So.
Fantastic. Since I was gonna make this original wager, however, we were too busy casting.
Oh no.
I was gonna say if the Tower Dive team loses, I was gonna finish the donations.
Nope.
So.
Nope.
However, since I didn't get to make that wager before the game actually finished,
Phew.
much less start, I'm still gonna do it anyway.
God damn it. Man, I don't get any luck when it comes to you. I swear to God. But it looks like we're in this game. Fairly standard starts coming out from all around. We've got a cloth armor coming out from Zach, rather.
Cloth lane?
Yes, cloth lane. So he can go ahead and duel more effectively against that Jace. This defensive maneuver is probably the best option for him, considering both Jarvan and Jace are going to be pumping out that physical damage. And they don't want to deal with a situation where Zach is getting caught out and killed. So very, very sustainable lane for him. And Mimic, so help me God, I'm not, you can't make me. And Ahri actually looks to be going for that flask, pot, and ward build. You can see the pings going down. They know an invade's going to happen here soon, so it'll be interesting to see how the blue team decides to respond, or if they just go for the counter invade themselves, which is completely possible.
I'm also interested on what route they're going to take. Looks like they're going to take that route.
Yeah, very interesting flag placement there on the part of Jarvan. Probably not the best bet for him. You know, the red team has been completely caught out in that ward, and Jace is actually going to get dragged in, be forced to go out, and there's Zach jumping in. The Ignite is down, and it looks like, there we go, there's the first blood to Jace, and is an all-out brawl here as flashes are being pumped out, and then Ahri picks up a kill, and now Tristana coming in for the flash over the wall, trying to get on to, oh no, and that is going to be a dead Tristana, and there we go, there's the pull, and now Lee Sin in a world of trouble here as Varus comes in. One more auto attack, and there's the double kill, and now we can see Zach coming back in, Zyra getting very low, she's going to go for the snare, but she's going to end up falling, and there we go, there's the charm onto Varus, he's going to get low, one more auto attack, that will finish him off, Zyra coming in for that assist there, and Lux being forced to flash over the wall in a 4-for-2 exchange at 2 minutes into the game. Are you kidding me, guys? Are you kidding me?
And Jarvan is still there to take his blue.
Yep. Low res timers. Awesome. Before minions even get to lane, everybody's gonna be able to go ahead and get back up. That was crazy. That was crazy, and that was stupid in so many ways. Like the red team, they knew they had been spotted. I don't know why they didn't decide to back off. That engagement was not favorable for them at all. They didn't pick up first blood. They didn't pick up any meaningful kills. The only hope that they have right now is that the 2 kills that Varus got, you know, that extra Doran's Blade is going to give him the ability to absolutely trash that bot lane, because that's what he really needs right now. He needs that ability to essentially go in there and just absolutely dominate, or else he's going to be in a world of hurt.
Well, I think he's going to be in that world of hurt regardless, because that is a very strong lead Ahri now has over this Lux, and even Zach that has over Jarvan.
Yep, and now we can see just this damage going down, and unfortunately, Varus taking quite a bit here. He's going to end up falling, and that is another kill for Tristana. She's going to end up falling here in the revenge kill as Jarvan goes ahead and takes her out, and that will be the end of that. We can see Zyra just coming back in to do some last hits, you know, because support, man. Support's last hitting is totally OP.
only when allowed.
I'm sorry, this game is ridiculous. Like, this game is absolutely ridiculous. We can see that right now Zach is just pushing really hard. This is a great idea by him. You know, he got that experience advantage from getting those early kills. He's 2-0 right now. He's got the level advantage onto Jace by at least a level. So what he's looking at right now is a situation where he's going to be able to pump out a lot of damage. He's going to be able to keep a consistent lead onto Jace, so hopefully he's able to exploit this, and hopefully that barrier and ignite combo didn't work out too badly for him. A nice charm landed by Ahri will go ahead and net her the kill with that last auto attack, bringing her down. This was something that we talked about in the early part of the champion select, about how Lux would have to be really careful about those charms, but unfortunately the brunt of that damage is just not something she can withstand at this level.
Not at all, especially with Lee Sin invading Jarvan's jungle like that and taking away all capabilities Jarvan had to assist his team. Jarvan is a very AD reliant champion as well as being tanky. However, in the top lane we have a little engagement going on.
Yes, we do. Nothing too major, and I just like to point out that at about 4 minutes in, Ahri was almost level 6. I don't know even what to say about that at this point. Like, this game is absolutely nuts, and we can see some damage going down in the bot lane, but not enough damage coming out from those plants to make any meaningful poke happen at this point. And it looks like Jace actually is going to get quite a bit of damage down. There's the barrier down on the part of Zach right now. The ignite's being popped out from both individuals, and now the chase is on to see if we can go ahead and get down these blobs. They can be smited, interestingly enough, and that will be a kill both for Thresh as well as Jace now to go ahead and take that home. This is going to really keep their top laner in the lane. Jace is going to be able to come back from this, and now we're going to see the push here. This was the danger of Zach not taking any escape spells. That barrier and that ignite was great, but he wasn't able to pick off anything from it.
No, not at all. And while it does help in the long run for his team, but we have
Lee Sin coming in down into the bot lane. He's going to be forced to flash out, and now here we go. Varus going for those auto attacks. He's going to manage to pick one up. That is going to be the double kill for him, and Lee Sin getting very low. That 2-for-1 exchange going to leave Varus with 4 kills, so a very nice on his part.
He played it extremely well. If he could have hit Lee Sin at least one more time, he would have killed him. That would have been an easy triple. Maybe not easy, but yes, that could have been a triple if he could have got that one more basic attack.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, but still very nice, turning what was a tower dive into a fairly favorable engagement. We can see Jarvan being caught out here by this ward. You know, Ahri starting to kind of dance around in her actions and playing it a little bit safer. Jarvan immediately realizes this and decides to back off, so a good job on his part, realizing that the gank was not worth his time, and is going to go ahead and head to other lanes, which right now looks to be this top lane, and we can see that knock-up going down once again. Shoepuff not having any kind of escapes. He's going to be in a world of pain right here. That shock blast coming out, and now Jarvan just looking for another opportunity to knock up. Lee Sin coming in here, and then Jarvan as well. Jace is going to get fairly low, and here is Ahri for the potential cleanup. You can see Jace doing his best to run away from here, but that ignite damage is going to be more than enough, and with no response from Lux not having any mana, that is going to give a double kill over to Ahri. Ow! Oh my goodness, that's so painful.
5-0 with a needlessly large rod before 7 minutes. Before the 7-minute mark. Needlessly large rod.
Yeah, I don't even have anything to say right now. Like, I don't know what to tell you about how far ahead Ahri is, about how well she's doing at this point.
Like, I pride people in getting their BF stored before 9 minutes, but that is ridiculous.
Yeah, this has been a ridiculous match, though. That freaking 5v5 engage at level 1 was absolutely ridiculous, and we're seeing the fallout of it now, what it meant to give away those first 4 kills, what it meant to go ahead and go in there. And we can see in the top lane, Jace getting isolated out again. He's doing his best to try and get under turret and try and dodge, try and get some form of damage down, but it's not going to be enough as Zach manages to take him out. He wasn't able to get close enough to his turret, and with no summoner spells, he was not left with any options.
Except to try and duke it out and do what damage he could. And that's what he did. However, it was just not enough. Zach was not going to be a target of the turret because the minion lane was, the minion wave was pushed up, so Zach is going to get out of there, no problem.
Yeah, and we can start to see the gold advantage piling up on the part of the team. And oh, in the bot lane, here we go. Zyra's ultimate has been used, the knockback rather, from Tristana coming out, and you can see Varus coming in here, just pelting out so much damage. Tristana nearly falling, and sorry, my voice failed me there momentarily. And now Thresh is taking the brunt of this, and as Varus chases him down. Oh man, a very nice play on the part of both of them. Tristana and this Zyra both getting out with nearly no health.
Now what I want to do look at is Varus was chained by Thresh. He got out. Tristana jumped in, but before the damage of the jump could be registered, he flashed out of everything. We saw Thresh chain in, pull himself there, try to flay him backwards, and then use the box. However, because that flash, he literally got out of the flay and the box with 0 issues.
And here we go in the mid lane. We finally have this engagement, the shutdown bonus going down, and we saw, once again, exactly what we were talking about earlier. Lux managed to save that light binding, but before we get into that, in the bot lane, we got the chain coming out from Thresh. It is not going to manage to do too much. Varus coming in here and is doing his best to get out now. You can see the added damage going down from the two of them. One more auto attack, and that will finish it. Varus falling to Tristana. But in terms of the mid lane, we saw Lux save that light binding for when Ahri was immediately going in. She got up right in her face. She ate a point-blank light binding, coupled with that ignite, and was able to take out Ahri and shut her down. So a very nice play on the part of Lux there. She just bided her time and waited till the exact right moment to go ahead and pop that.
Absolutely, and that's what you have to do as a mid player. Whenever you're going against a champion that has a high mobility and you have a lockdown potential, you have to wait for that right moment, and that's exactly what she did. So I applaud her for that.
Yeah, an excellent play on her part. Now let's go ahead and do a little bit of a comparison in builds. We can see a Doran's ring and a needlessly large rod coming out from Ahri right now, as well as her boots too. So quite a bit of magic penetration as well as added damage that she's going to be dealing right now. Quite the terror. She's also up about 20 CS onto Lux, who only has a chalice, a Doran's ring, and boots 1. So in a bit of trouble there. You know, she's not quite as far ahead or in any position that she'd really like to be right now. She doesn't have the opportunity to roam, as Ahri just has the mobility to follow up right behind her and really just kind of run with this as she wants. Now Varus doing his best to get some nice damage down, and in the top lane a little bit of a skirmish, and then the mad pings going down into mid lane. We can see the flash engagement coming out from Ahri, but it is not, I'm sorry, Ahri is Zyra, but it is not going to go anywhere.
No, not at all. And honestly, for the best, the blue team had the capability of coming back and turning it around. So it worked out actually the best for the red team that the disengage happened, because there's just so much potential to be turned around on.
Yeah, now we can see Ahri going in here, that third rush of her Spirit Dash going down, but it is not going to be enough. And now in the top lane, we've got the dive coming out from this Zac. That barrier and ignite finally working out to his advantage, coupled with his ultimate will be enough to pick it up. And the dragon has also been taken on the part of the red team, so that'll give them a little bit of gold to try and help them keep in this match. About 2,000 to 3,000 gold ahead right now. That is slowly building. An ace coming up. Unfortunately, he's going to miss the Varus and just be content to ward.
Absolutely. The best wards you can do are always in the enemy jungle. That way you can see where the jungler is for your entire team's sake. That way they can play aggressively if they want to, because in lane matchups, if you have a favorable engagement, you want to know where their jungler is.
There's a dive onto Lux, and we saw the kickback right into the Ahri Q. An excellent play on the part of the blue team. And there we go. There's Zac coming in right now, and that punch will go ahead and take him out. But he's going to end up paying for this quite a bit as he's taken down to his passive. And now it's the mad dash, but the flash in from Lee Sin. Thresh coming up as well, and a nice orb over the wall will go ahead and take out Jace. And Lee Sin is Ahri just playing it so well.
And not only that, but look who is still alive.
Yep.
Even with being taken down to his passive, his team responded in the correct amount of time.
Yeah, an excellent job on the part of his team. Both Lee Sin and Ari so very mobile. He knew he could just get in, and that if he was able to get out, he'd have that response immediately from his team. And we're starting to see a huge snowball coming out on the part of the blue team as they take their second turret of the game, or Lee Sin's just going to back off, which is fine too.
Well, I would back off too whenever I got hit by a Lux laser and saw Jarvan running down the lane.
Yeah, probably not the worst idea here. And now we see the snare coming out from this Zyra, and a lot of damage coming out, and there is the Varus ultimate. We can see the Zyra ultimate being popped as well. She will actually manage to get the kill, but there is the box down right now, and Ace in a world of pain, and he is going to go ahead and fall to his Varus, and that is going to be that.
Well, it got turned around in the red team's favor with that push. Jarvan didn't even get to help. And this is really just a bouncing back and forth between the bot lane. We see Tristana 3-4-4, Varus 5-4-2. However, if you look at the build, you see Tristana rushing that Infinity Edge, obviously, while you see Varus over here building that Blade of the Ruin King as fast as possible.
Yeah, but we can see the blue team is actually ready to take a number of turrets right now, both mid and top very low. And we can see in the mid lane Ari doing her best to get away right now. She's going to use that Foxfire for a little bit of extra damage as she tries to kite around, and a nice Spirit Rush will go ahead and get her out of there. She's just going to use it to farm at this point. She knows she's in the clear, and that is going to be the end of her ultimate, but also quite a bit of damage down on the mid lane. And in the top lane, here we go. Here's the dive, the crash right down onto Mr. Dr. Snuggles, and that Ignite is ticking away. He is going to go ahead and fall to Zac, who is just going to go ahead and come up here. I don't think he's going to get caught out by Zyra as she goes back to go ahead and defend this turret.
No. And Lux is still putting up a very valiant effort in the mid lane against Ahri. It is really just a skill matchup. However, Ahri just has such a huge lead from the very beginning of this game, and it has been showing, especially with her being 6-1 and 21 farm over.
You can see the pings going down. Lux actually coming up here with the light binding. She's going to use her ultimate, and it is going to tag Lee Sin, do a lot of damage, but will not be enough to take him out right now. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Varus defending, doing his best to go ahead and keep up with the damage coming out all around. That Thresh hook will miss, and luckily he will be able to go ahead and clear the minions off of this turret.
Which is good. He needs to defend that turret, especially with the blue team being so pushed up. There's a lot of ganking potential, especially with the blue team having no vision, except right there by the blue buff.
Yep, and now we're looking at Zac coming in and going for yet another kill on Mr. Dr. Snuggles, which is an awesome name, I have to say.
Mr. Dr. Snuggles.
Yep. Oh,
Dr.
man.
Snuggles.
Really? Really?
What? Remixing into Red Robin?
I got nothing. I don't even know what to say to you. It's 16-9 at 17 minutes into the game. 2 towers to 1 in favor of the blue team. And 28,000 gold to about 24,000 gold. So still quite the hefty advantage on the part of the blue team. And then, here we go, Zac going in yet again. Same strategy every time. Sit in the bush, wait to bounce out. And even though that acceleration gate is down, Shootpuff may just look to go ahead and dive here. That Hex Drinker being popped, that Ignite going down. That barrier should be up. Oh! And there we go. That is going to be the end of Jace, and Shootpuff is going to get out of there alive. A nice estimation of how much damage that Ignite was going to do, letting him just go ahead and barely get out of there with a smidgen of health. So good job on to his part.
Now, if I was this Jace, that is the 5th time Zac has done this. I would be placing some wards.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what's going on with this Jace. He's having a really bad time in top lane, but here we go. Zyra's been caught out by that Q, and the immediate lockup coming out from Zyra. A very nice snare, and in the mid lane, we actually saw Lux go down to Lee Sin and Ahri, so a nice gank on their part, and a 1-for-1 exchange, not really in the favor of anybody. Nobody got a shutdown bonus. Nobody's getting a tower off of this. That is pretty much the end of that.
However, we're going to see Thresh picking up an Oracles, and looking at the map, there's not that many wards for him to profit off of. We see about 4 or 5 on the map, and it's all in the red team's jungle on the blue side, the blue buff side.
Yep. And now we can see Lee Sin soloing Dragon right here. There's no vision on it for any team, so this is a great idea for him. He's going to go ahead and be able to further extend this gold advantage a bit and just go back to, you know, sitting here and ganking people, which is not going to be a problem for him. Meanwhile, Jarvan's hanging around this top lane a little bit. Not that I blame him, because Mr. Dr. Snuggles is having a number of issues going up against Zac right now, who's actually down in the bot lane looking to go ahead and get in on this Varus, who's just been forced to pop out flash. And there we go. You can actually see Lee Sin managing to connect with him and just going to go over, and a nice Lux binding coming out. An excellent Q on the part of Lux. Unfortunately, no follow-up from her ultimate. Would have been a decent chunk of damage.
Oh, in comes Slingshot.
And here comes Zac. He's just going to come in here, do quite a bit of damage. Get knocked back. There's the ultimate coming out from Lux. He's going to get down really low, but Lee Sin just looking to get right in here and do as much disruption as possible. An interesting dive call on their part, as Lee Sin is going to fall here. And even though the kick went down on Jace to try and nudge him back towards Zac, he's not actually going to go ahead and pursue in onto this. So with Lee Sin down and a very, very low Zac, it looks like the red team's actually going to be able to take an advantage here and really push.
Which is exactly what they need.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a double dive for what?
Absolutely nothing. I'm not sure if they thought that they could just get these kills without worrying about the turret damage, but that certainly wasn't the case. Both of them just dived in past 2 turrets to try and pick something, anything up. It just goes to show that, you know, forcing fights, not the best idea on the part of the blue team.
Not at all. Now, I would rather see this double buff that's on Jace, on Varus. He could profit off of this immensely and maybe turn this game around.
Yep. Hang on one second.
Hang it on.
You can see the Lux ultimate coming out now, not really managing to do too much. We do see that creep wave getting down very low, and now...
Here it comes again.
And yeah, now here we go. We're going to see this dive again. Shoopuf just looking to come in and do whatever he can to this poor Jace. Lee Sin even up here now as well, but they know that Zyra is around, so they're not going to go ahead and chance this. Hang on one second.
Alrighty, still hanging on from the first time.
Sorry.
Still hanging on! Anyway, what we're going to see is we're going to see the Zyra ultimate come out on top of this Jarvan's Flag and Drag. It did a lot of CC, however, the Thresh Lantern was there to save him. And that's going to be the disengage we see. Jarvan's going to go ahead and try and press it. You have Jace checking the bush with his charge, and it's just not going to be enough to even disturb the blue team. They're going to get out of there with them stealing the red buff.
Yeah, and now we can go ahead and see that 0 for 0 engagement and the check on a Baron right now, those awards being cleared out on the part of the blue team, not wanting the red team to have any vision. So just going to go ahead and try and deny them as much as possible, as Varus is forced to sit up here and try and defend this top tower. A nice chunk of damage going down on to Tristana, who is being forced to back up.
Run, Forrest, run.
Pretty much. And now we just have the Thresh and Lee Sin combo continuing to clear out wards, and a check over into Baron coming out from Jace, but that's not going to go anywhere. And oh my god, that DFG Spirit Rush and full combo coming out from Ahri is going to melt this poor Lux, who just got absolutely decimated. DFG, a nice touch onto that combo, was enough to take her out, coupled with that Orb of Deception, which is really starting to burn right now. You can see this Zyra not managing to quite catch out Zac in that E, but she will go ahead and slow him down. It's not going to be enough, though, as Jace is forced to come up here and try and defend, and unfortunately Zac is just very tanky right now.
Not only that, but he even has some magic pen in there, and that is just showing you the advantage that this Zac has. The fact that he is so confident in his abilities that he took no escapes, and that he's going for a magic pen rather than more damage.
And you can see Zach and Lee Sin being bullies up here. I mean, this just looks like a very slow and losing fight for the red team right now. They don't have any way to really gain a foothold. They're struggling to stay into this game and pick up any kills, and now we can see Lee Sin just coming in and actually scaring Zyra into using her ultimate. It's just very unfortunate to see how that engagement went. Nobody managed to pick up kills, but the red team certainly came out on the bottom of it, because now the Ignite is down onto Jarvan, and that Spirit Rush coming in there, going to go ahead and avoid his ultimate and go back over the wall, leaving Jarvan without an ultimate and Ahri still sitting pretty. And in the top lane, Jace once again, the bounty time going out, the barrier is down, and Lee Sin is here to help now. That kit coming out, and that Ignite will go ahead and finish him off.
Wow, this is painful to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't so bad earlier on, but it's the same tricks that are continuing to keep Jace getting caught out here. Ahri is building for full burst damage. Nobody really has any kind of response to this. Bot lane has pretty much been ignored, even though Varus does have the potential to pretty much become just as powerful as a late game carry as Tristana does. And I mean, there's just not a good response going anywhere across the map to the problems that are happening in each lane.
No, not at all. And we're seeing more ward coverage now by the red team than the blue team. That's because the blue team is so pushed up. They really don't need that much vision. They know where their red team is, and they're able to just do exactly what Tristana is doing. Push up the minion wave with no issues, poke at the tower, red team's coming, jump out.
Yep, and hang on 1 moment.
Still hanging on from the first time.
Oh,
and
that's
second.
not very nice.
Don't worry, I'll always hang on. That smiteless dragon.
Yeah, it looks like blue team is actually going to go ahead and be able to pick up dragon here. And Shoopuf, once again, just clearing out these jungle minions, looking to go ahead and be aggressive back in the top lane. As now red team completely on the defensive, no winning lanes as of yet. This Varus still has a nice number of kills under his belt, but just doesn't have the opportunity to really unload anything into a team fight.
No, not at all. And you can tell that they're being pushed so much because Varus went ahead and picked up a home guard before finishing anything really major.
Yeah, not really a problem for him at this point, though. They do need that defense, but Tristana being forced to jump over the wall right now. Just going to go ahead and lifesteal up off of those wolves, while the rest of her team is going to go ahead and take out Baron here. They did have the oracles. They did go ahead and clear it out. With Tristana pushing those other lanes, they don't know that this is going on right now. They have absolutely no idea. They're completely denied, and this is pretty much going to be what seals the game here. You know, they're going to go ahead and just try and fight as 5 and push and push and push now. And that's pretty much going to be the end of it. There's a huge gold differential here, 11,000 gold in the favor of the blue team, and it's just looking rough for the red team to come back right now.
I believe.
That is probably the best way you could have ever put that.
Yeah.
And now Ahri being forced out here. She does have that blue buff. She's going to go ahead and just look to pressure these other lanes while the rest of her team works on grouping up. The pings have gone down. Some nice defensive warding coming out from the red team, but that Oracles is going to go ahead and just deny them vision, which is a great move on the part of Thresh to go ahead and just keep them out of their jungle and continue to catch individuals out.
And that's exactly what they've been doing all game, especially Zach. And we're just going to continue to see total buff control. As you can tell, the red team has not had any of their buffs for the past 10 minutes due to constant buff control.
And you can see Varus finally catching out Tristana in some damage. She's going to get down below half health, but with Ahri being right there, you know, he decides to disengage. A good call on his part, and now we can just see the pressure being applied all across the lanes, and Ahri coming in with the Spirit Rush. Just going to go ahead and get down very low. That is going to be, a very dead Jarvan, but in return, Varus is finally going to nail that kill onto her. That is going to go ahead and give him a shutdown bonus. And in the top lane, we have Zach coming in, that bounty time going out, and there we go. There is the Thresh ult, and Chase going to be the first one to fall with no real surprises there as he dives in to try and get this Zyra. A nice snare coming out, and it will manage to save her. That fountain healing is going to be enough, and Tristana taking out Lux down towards that bot lane, while while Varus does his best to try and clean up here, but it is not going to be enough. Tristana at full health is going to go ahead and scare him off as well as the rest of his team. Unfortunately, 4v1, not the best situation to stick yourself in as an AD carry, and that inhibitor is going to go down.
Go, Varus, go!
Now we can actually see now that Tristana getting caught out. A nice jump over the wall will go ahead and get her out of that fight. Meanwhile, Varus doing his best to try and take out this Lee Sin. Right now we can see the pull going down onto Zyra, and then the flash over the wall from this Thresh, and he will get out of there with only a couple hundred health left. Very nice Q by that Varus.
Absolutely, he knew exactly where he was going. However, here comes Jace.
And we can see now that Zach just trying to do so much damage. The shutdown going down on to Tristana from Varus. You can see Tristana coming over the wall, and there's the double kill. Lux not managing to pick up anybody with that laser, as now the chase is on. The jump is down, and there's a triple kill. Potentially, no, that is not going to be the quadra kill. And there's the quadra kill and the denied penta. What a scumbag coming out from Shoepuff. That is going to be the ace. The GGs are being called right now. It'll be, and that will pretty much be it.
Scumbag Zach.
Yep.
Said by Cell.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the end of the finals. The blue team will be taking home this TowerDiveTV number 28, and that is going to be the end of this, guys. We've got a marathon going on later tonight for a good 24 hours, starting tonight at midnight and carrying on to tomorrow at midnight. So in the meantime, totally wrong lobby screen. We're actually going to go ahead and get out of here. So congrats to our winners, and as always, guys, we'll go ahead and have these videos up on YouTube here momentarily for any of the games that you might have missed. This has been Lunette the Herald casting here today with Kuro Makai, and we will see